Now,
keep listening.
Let's put out our dancing shoes.
Radio1's Residency.
One more time.
From the underground
To the arena.
This is BBC Radio 1's Residency.
Tonight
On the Residency.
Honey Dijon.
Good evening, children. It's Honey Dijon coming to you live, loud, and in color right here on BBC Radio 1. I'd like to welcome you to the second installment of my show. I'm super excited because I have a very special guest for you coming up pretty soon. Before that, I'd like to give a major shout out to Mr. Hugh Stevens, who was on before me, and also to thank everyone for such the wonderful messages they sent into my very first show. Thank you so much. It's such an honor for me to play music that I love and adore. For this show, I've decided to dedicate the entire hour to New York. For those of you that don't know, I did grow up in Chicago, but I moved to New York in my early 20s, and it had such a huge influence on me from a cultural perspective in music and nightlife and culture. So I've decided to dedicate this entire hour to New York. We'll have music from Masters at Work, Chez Damier, Ted Patterson, Barbara Tucker, and my special edit of Tanya, which is a legendary classic that Mr. Danny Tenaglia used to play at vinyl called Tanya. So here we go. Let's get into the mix. This first track that I'm presenting is called I Am the Music by Millionaire Hippies, which is an alias for Mr. Danny Rampling, which was a huge Sound Factory classic in New York City. I Am the Music by the Millionaire Hippies.
Radio 1.
Getting major goosebumps from this next track that's coming up. It's called I Remember Dance by Chuggles, which is on one of my favorite labels ever, Prescription, which was run by Mr. Chez Damier. Chez Damier had a huge influence in the New York City sound with his label Prescription and his work on KMS. This track was created by Mr. Ralph Lawson alongside Chez from 2020 Records in Leeds. Leeds and Chicago have such a deep connection as well as it is to New York because Danny Tenaglia used to play loads at Back to Basics. It's called I Remember Dance by Chuggles on Prescription Records, and for all you heads, you can still get it on Discogs. This is Honey Dijon, and you're listening to me on the BBC Radio 1 Residency. I've decided to dedicate this next hour to New York City because New York City has such a rich history in clubbing culture, and it's actually set the template for the modern clubs that we have today, starting from the Loft down to the Paradise Garage, to the Sound Factory Bar, to Twilo, Body and Soul, Be Yourself at Vinyl with Danny Tenaglia, which has inspired clubs in Ibiza like Pasha, and currently now High, which used to be Space. And it's so important for me to continue that legacy of what's come before, because I believe that it can still influence things that are happening today. There's so many new kids and new spaces and new clubs that are happening now, and you know, things have changed so much in the last years with social media and Instagram that I feel we need to get back to the roots of people dancing together and celebrating without recording every second. So I wanted to sort of invoke that spirit of dance, of spirit, of love, and the music that was the soundtrack to all of that. So I hope you enjoy it.
BBC Radio 1's Residency.
This next track for me is, I play this record almost weekly, and it's by Ann Nesby, and it's called Can I Get a Witness? And Ann Nesby was part of the trio Sounds of Blackness that made a lot of big gospel house records that Frankie Knuckles used to play quite a bit. And Moose T, who is also a very prolific producer and remixer, remixed this record. And it's so amazing because there's so few great vocals that you can play in an intimate space as well as rock as a big room. So get into it. It's called Can I Get a Witness? By Ann Nesby, Moose T remix. Enjoy. children, don't go anywhere. Coming up soon, I have an exclusive interview with Mr. Louis Vega. And I'd like to thank everyone who sent in such wonderful comments about my very first show. It means so much to me to be able to share the music that I grew up with and the music that I still currently play and love and adore and share it with all of you. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere, and if you need to put the phone down, put the phone down.
Radio 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to introduce you to a man that doesn't need any introduction, Mr. Louis Vega. For those of you who don't know who he is one half of the power duo Masters at Work, and I will be performing with him this summer back-to-back at the Sonar Festival in Spain. And please welcome to my BBC Radio 1 residency, Mr. Louis Vega.
Hey, what a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, I'm just so happy to have you here. It's such an honor for me. You've been such an inspiration to me and to so many of my friends for many, many years. So thank you for joining me for the show. First of all, where are you in the world?
Wow, I'm actually in Miami at WMC right now.
All right, it's Winter Music Conference now.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're doing 25 parties as usual.
Oh, no. Well, it's the new WMC, so we're really excited. Everybody's come together. There's a lot of people here. I mean, last night we had a wonderful time playing for the opening party for WMC, which was David and I doing a King's of House NYC thing. And, everybody came out. It was wonderful. Everybody's in town. It's looking good. We're just missing you.
Yeah, well, Mama's on the road trying to make a dollar holler, wiggle, and squiggle. So, I'm just trying to keep it... But, I have such fond memories of the Winter Music Conference because I remember when you released the New Eurekan Soul album, and I think that particular moment took over the entire Winter Music Conference because you work with so many amazing people from George Benson. And the thing that I loved about that album to me was that it was such a wide range of music from so many different art forms, salsa and house and rotary. I Am the Black Gold of the Sun with Jocelyn Brown. And for me, it was groundbreaking. How did that process even come together with you to make this album?
Thank you so much for that. Kenny and I just wanted to make an album that represented our history and us growing up in New York City. And we kind of reached out to the roots. And at that time, we were doing all our Masters at Work goodies all those years. And, we had, a lot of great training in the studio. And, we just got it to a place where, we were able to take it to the next level and produce artists like George Benson, Roy Ayers, and Tito Puente, and Eddie Palmieri, and Jocelyn Brown, India, and everybody. So it was really a wonderful experience. And it all came about from us trying to express ourselves and let everybody know how, it was growing up in New York City, and that's what that album is about.
It's so funny that you say that because I feel the same way about what I'm trying to do with my music is just take inspiration from what I grew up with and my roots in Chicago and sort of convey what that experience was like for me through my music and try to do that, not living in the past, but bringing it forward in the future. And that's maybe why that album has such a deep place in my heart, because I feel like in order to move forward, you have to give respect to the past and then just combine it with the things that are new. So it's still, I probably listen to that album once a week still to this day. So
oh wow,
yeah.
Thank you. Well, exactly. I mean, you're on the right track. You know, I think
thank
it's wonderful
you
that you're reaching out, you know, to your roots, but as well, you know, you're out there doing your thing and making such great music today. So I think that you know, that's how it comes about, and all the collaborations and friends that we all have. I think it's important to connect, you know, now. You know, I just did an album with the Martinez brothers,
right?
Which is wonderful. I mean, it's a great project that we haven't released yet, but we're going to release an EP next and probably lead up to an album. So I think it's important to connect, and I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, I'm still making a lot of music and always inspired. And, you know, last week I was just doing live strings and horns with Patrick Adams and Leroy Burgess. And, you know, and then and next, you know, I'm making a track with Joseph Capriati for his album or an album with the Martinez brothers. So, you know, I think that it's important to connect with our friends and get together and express ourselves creatively, and that's how the new things come about, you know?
Well, it's the same for me. I've been working with so many new people, and especially a lot of queer new people. Like I, you know, did some work with Cakes the Killer, which is a queer rapper from Brooklyn, and I'm also working with Nikki O, this amazing singer that's on Classic, and also DJ Seinfeld, and who also goes by Rimbaudian, and I just did a remix for Jada G, who also has a residency on the show. So for me, it's important. There's so much diversity in music and culture at the moment that it's important for me to take what I've learned and apply it to the new generation as well. So new forms of music and new collaborations can come from that. And I'm hoping one day that I can even get into the studio with you. That would be so awesome. So
excellent, man. Don't worry about that. It's done. We're already on the first step because we're going to be together in the summertime, right? We're doing this back-to-back set, which is going to be wonderful.
For those of you that don't know, me and Louis Vega are doing it back-to-back at Sonar this summer. And for me, it was such an honor to be able to stand next to such an influential artist. Not only is it great for us to be able to do something back-to-back, but also something that continues the legacy of what we come from. So I'm really excited for that.
Oh, that's wonderful. I can't wait. It's going to be fun this summer. Get ready. Let's go.
I am the black gold of the sun.
This is
BBC Radio 1's Residency.
The special edit coming up is by one of my favorite friends who used to be half of the production duo Copyright. And it's a special edit that he gave me of Masters at Work versus George Cranston Dada, which was a huge Paradise Garage record back in the day. I'm the only one that has it, so guess what? You're going to have to come out and hear me play it. That's how that works when you want to hear exclusive things. Masters at Work versus George Cranston Dada, special Copyright edit. The wonderful thing about Masters at Work music for me is that it's so timeless. These records still just wreck the dance floor. And it's just so amazing to see what timeless music does. And if you know me, I don't believe in an expiration date when it comes to music. Past, present, and future all exist in the same time zone for me. I believe good music is good music no matter when it was made, where it was made, in $1 million studio or someone's bedroom. It's all about your heart and soul and what you put into it. You don't need millions of dollars of gear, you just need $1 million ideas. This is Honey Dijon and you're listening to me on BBC Radio 1's Residency. You can find a full list of all the tracks I've played on the Residency page on the Radio 1 website and listen back on the BBC Sounds app. Hi, this is Honey Dijon, and if you're just joining me now, we're about halfway through with my New York City special. If you're loving the music that you're hearing tonight on my residency and my radio show, you can tweet at BBCR1 or hashtag R1Residency. I'd love to know what you think.
Tweet hashtag R1Residency.
This is Honey Dijon, and you're listening to me on BBC Radio 1's Residency. Over the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing quite a bit of touring. You can catch me in Poland, Dublin, and then I'll also be going to New York, LA, and San Francisco for my first solo tour there. I'm super excited, and I hope to catch a few familiar faces on the road.
Radio 1.
Usted no sabe que yo existo. Ha tratado de decir mi nombre, pero las palabras no salen.
This next track I'm playing is called Notice Me by Sandy, and it was produced by Clavillis and Cole. You may know them as CNC Music Factory, who made the mega hit Gonna Make You Sweat. But this is their sexier music, and one of the things that I love so much about New York at that time is that you could make underground records as well as make records that surfaced above ground. This is Clavillis and Cole, Sandy, Notice Me on my New York special on BBC Radio 1's Residency with me, Honey Dijon.
That's right. All you gotta do is notice me. Conocerme. Conocerme.
You are listening to a very special edit by one of my favorite DJs in the world, Mr. Ted Patterson of Clavillis and Cole's Sandy, Notice Me. Ted Patterson was actually the first DJ that gave me my first DJ gig in New York City. He heard me play and he sort of took me under his wings and basically told me, you'd be a really great DJ if you learned how to beat match. And actually, you know, we all need people to show us the way, and I think it's important to have mentors and people that you look up to, and that's what I try to do with a lot of people, is to sort of pass on the information that was given to me, because we have to continue the legacy, and it's so important to share the love of music in any way that you can.
BBC Radio 1's Residency.
Dijon, and you're listening to my BBC Radio 1 Residency. Up next is an exclusive debut of my upcoming remix for Harry Romero of a New York City classic called Tanya. I first heard this record at Vinyl Be Yourself that Danny Tenaglia played, and I had never heard anything like it, and it blew my lid off. Or how do you guys say that in London? It blew your nut off, or is that how you say it? Anyway, I'm super excited, and I'm so happy to be able to debut this here on BBC Radio 1. It's called Tanya by Harry Romero, Honey Dijon exclusive Blow Your Lid remix. Honey Dijon and BBC Radio 1's Residency. I'll be joined by some amazing artists such as Marcel Detman, Charlotte DeWitt, Jada G, who's coming up next after me, Hi, Paul Wolford, and of course Monkey and Mr. Danny Bird. And if you missed any of those incredible shows so far, you can catch up on the BBC Sounds app at your convenience, on the bus, in line at the store, at Wagamama's, where I'm going to go right after here and get me some of that katsu curry. Let's get back into the mix.
Radio 1.
The track you're listening to right now is called The Groove by one of the nicest people that I know in dance music, Mr. Junior Sanchez. And a New York show wouldn't be complete without a heritage label. This is on Nervous Records. Nervous Records has had a big influence on the sounds of New York, such as Strictly Rhythm, Twisted, Tribal America, Emotive, New Groove. So many amazing record labels that define the sound of New York. And we have so many new artists today that are continuing that tradition. I love the music of DJ Q and Joey Anderson, as well as Galsha Lustwerk. There's still so many great artists and musicians defining the New York sound. So let's get back into the mix. This is Honey Dijon with a tribute to New York City. This is Honey Dijon, and you're listening to me on BBC Radio 1's Residency. This next song needs no introduction. I think everyone from techno heads to deep house heads know this vocal. It's been sampled a million times, most recently by Kanye West. Floorplan did an amazing update of this record, and I've been playing it in my sets lately. It's Beautiful People by Barbara Tucker, produced at Masters of Work, originally on Strictly Rhythm Records. And it's been updated for today's dance floor by Mr. Robert Hood, also known as Floorplan.
Dijon.
Okay, children, we're coming to the end of the show. Sadly, I know I could go on for hours and hours. Thanks so much for being with me. And also a huge shout out to Louis Vega for coming along on the show and saying hello and telling us what he's up to. I'm so excited to be here, and we're going to get right back into the mix. And thank you for joining me on BBC Radio 1's Residency. This is Honey Dijon.
There's no time for lies, so I'll provide. People need to be true to themselves. When will we stop hating and learn to love one another? Mama said, don't judge a book by its cover, 'cause soon you will discover it's a natural, psychological.
This is Honey Dijon on BBC Radio 1's Residency. Thank you so much for joining me for this last hour and my tribute to the sounds of New York City. Thank you to Mr. Louis Vega for joining me. And you can tweet me at BBCR1 to let me know what you think of tonight's show. And you can also get a full track listing of all the music that I've played on the BBC Radio 1's website. Thank you so much, and in the words of Paris is Burning, one of my favorite movies ever, we're not going to be shady, just fierce. The last song that I played is called Another Dimension by Timmy Vegas. You may know it's a very familiar song called Gypsy Woman by Crystal Waters. It's probably one of my favorite records that I've dug up recently. I will be back the second week of May with a very special surprise guest and co-host. And I can't wait to see you guys again right here on BBC Radio 1's Residency.
Radio 1.